This right here will tell you how to manifest everything you want. And I don't want you to spend time on the model itself, but on the space outside of it and the space inside of it. Because if you spend time in here, you won't manifest. If you spend time out here, you will manifest. Let me tell you about it for just a few minutes, and then you will understand reality creation on a whole new level. Okay? I'm in my new office. As you might be able to see, I'm not done with it. We are slowly rebuilding everything. And no power on the iPad, so I will use this whiteboard of black coffee and shiny diamonds instead. This out here is actually God. Awareness, Allah, source, consciousness, whatever you want to call it. And it was just awareness itself, not something you can describe beyond any label you can imagine. It decided to take on form to experience itself, right? That is why it says in all religions, it says, I made man in my image, or I took my soul and I breathed it into every human being, right? So you are actually right here. This is your eyes, and you're looking out at reality, right? And we call that POV, a point of view, right? This is you, actually. Awareness is everything. And this right here is someone you know also having a point of view. And this right here is also someone having a point of view. And that is entire reality. So you call this in here, you call this reality. The thing that you are looking at, right? It's hard to see on the screen. But actually, that is not reality. That's just awareness solidifying itself. And that is how manifestation works, right? So you think that this in here is you, but you're actually everything all at once. And these other people, this one, and this one, they are no different from you, except for that they are just different localizations of awareness. So awareness has just taken on several points of views to be able to look at everything all at once, at the same time, in the same moment. And this will tell you how to manifest, so stick with me. And might be hard for you to recognize that you are actually every person that you will ever meet. But a good example is that if you dream and there are people in your dream, it does not require other people to also be dreaming for them to be in your dream. But it feels so real. And why are they there? And why do they speak the way they normally do? It's because consciousness is also those people. God is also those people. Awareness is also those people, right? So that's why it's perfectly capable of recreating any person, any situation at all times, at all moments. That's why you can be with all your friends in a swimming pool, in your grandmother's living room, in a dream. Because in a dream, consciousness just solidifies itself instantly. That is what we call instant manifestation. Because on this dream level, where we are not at this level, the dream within the dream, we are we are capable of doing everything. So when you dream, we might say that you're actually less of in a dream than you are right now. Because now you are in a dream, multiple layers, right? But it's the same. And hopefully you can use that analogy to see, so okay, so in my dream, my consciousness is also creating every other person in my dream. And right now, as I'm awake, I just think I'm awake. And when I wake up from a dream, I know that I was dreaming. But but in a dream, I don't know, right? And that's the same thing with reality. Is that after reality, after physical reality, you will know that you were dreaming. Right now, you just don't. But you are participating in this dream. Consciousness is creating all points of view, and that's why we are all one, right? There's only one God, and one God only. Awareness itself. All right? So it's like a dream. And what I'm telling you on this channel is the law of knowing. You've heard me say that before, right? The law, can you see what I'm writing? Oh, wait, this is needs to change, huh? Can we maybe take a new one? Let's see if this is good. Yes. The law of knowing. And the law of knowing is basically telling you to to recognize that you can actually know any point of view to be you, and therefore also a possibility. Because everything out here is potential. It's actually God looking for another point of view to occupy. And you choose that point of view. So you can actually move your point of view. Let's say this is you. You can actually move it a bit to the right or a bit to the left, and therefore change what you're looking at. And you don't do it by changing this. You actually do it by changing the part of God that you are, the extension of God that you are. Right? So I'm not telling you that you are all of God. Awareness is way greater than you. You're just a point of view in awareness. Right? But you're actually having this X shape. Right? So this is actually what happens in you. This is actually the important part of you. What is in your awareness. Not what is being reflected outside in what you call physical reality. Right? So it all comes from top and down into physical reality. I know it gets messy right now, but hopefully you get that. So it's actually the unknowing of your current state that brings you the knowing that what you want, you can actually have. You have chosen a point of view. And that brings us to that every lack is then a lack in God. Right. Let's try to remove some of this so I can explain you. So the thing you're lacking, the thing you want to manifest, is because you don't think you have it right now. Right. So let's draw this again. Right. So you have a point of view, and your point of view lacks money. But there is no, in God, up here, there is no lack of money. It doesn't exist. It's just experiencing everything all at once. So you might experience something. It's not you, however. You're viewing it, and you are deciding based on your preference. You're actually choosing to view something from God, and that's giving you a point of view, right? So the point of view manifests itself. So both of these are actually the same. They are representation of what you believe about God. I believe in lack. So therefore, lack is what you see. So the mirror principle is then your exact point of reference from changing from awareness to the reflection of awareness, right? So if we were to draw the mirror of reality, it would be right on the borderline of reality creation. Very interesting. So what we do when we realize that when I lack love, when I lack money, when I lack peace, it's always a lack up here. It's always, but I actually lack God, consciousness, Allah. I lack the belief that I can have it. And if you can find it, then you can have it. And that's why you will have so many different experiences. Just when you're driving 4 people in a car and someone cuts you off, all 4 of you will think differently. Same objective experience, if that was a thing. So the same thing happened. But you have different labeling, right? One of you is angry, one of you doesn't care, one of you is on his phone, and one of you, I don't know, right, loves that he cuts you off, right? If that's the thing to do in traffic, right? And so that's actually 4 points of views determining what that experience was. And now we come to the very interesting point, right? Is that you actually, let's draw it again here. We're soon done. You actually escalate manifestation at all times. So what you believe about God, let's call it I am. That's so popular to do right now. What you believe about I am starts to solidify instantly. The state you occupy, you instantly build a house of faith in that state, right? So let's say it's a piece of land you're occupying, right? You are actually building right now a house at that state. And that house brings you thoughts, emotions, but also a lot of physical experiences. And that starts to escalate. So the moment you say, I lack, it brings out a world of lack. It brings out a house of lack. And if you keep on saying it, this house will give you more stuff to say, more experiences of lack, right? So when I draw, sometimes I draw manifestation, it always escalates to the upside or the downside. It's never stable because consciousness is always expanding, right? So consciousness, God, could not care if you go this way or that way, and infinite possibilities. It will just instantly give you more of what you're looking for, more of what you're looking at, right? So you are building home here, and you can actually just move, but you don't do it by saying, "But I don't like this." And a lot of you people, that sounds bad. Not a lot of you people, but a lot of people in general, right? Oh, these are all bad. I need to buy. I never use this whiteboard. Sorry for that. Right? You ask me, Chris, how do I change what's in here? The question mark, right? How do I change what's in my point of view? I say, but you don't have to change it. It changes automatically. And if you are worried about changing that, you lack the opposite of it. You actually lack what is on the other side of the mirror. You being something, right? So this is what you are aware of being, and this is you being aware. Make sense? So who am I being? What am I seeing, right? And I'm slowly going into this subject so you recognize that I'm one with everything. We are all the same, looking at it differently, and what a wonderful experience that is. That I can actually choose my label, and that's why I will be in a car having different experiences than everyone else in the car. That's why I can have money and feel lack, and I can also have no money and feel abundant, because my mental plane and my spiritual plane is actually my choice. My mental plane will also be occupied by what I've chose to be previously, born out of the house we just built in that state. But I can actually choose to build a new house. I can actually go down here and say, now this is me. This is what I'm occupying. And this right here is rich. And I don't recognize that state very well. I've not spent a lot of time in it. I've not built any memories, and I've not built a house yet. But let's just start by just building some walls, right? And a good foundation underneath. And then slowly over the days, you'll build roofing and windows and everything, just by staying in that state more. And yes, this old state sometimes will move you back when you visit your mom and dad. They will move you back into this state. No, this is who we know you to be, and it will feel bad, and you will know that it feels best because you've not chosen this state yourself. It feels best to be in the state that you've chosen yourself, right? It does, and you'll recognize it. So, this takes us on to the mirror principle. This will be wonderful. So, we have a line, the mirror. It's always one-to-one, right? It's always the same. And when you say, I will look until I see it, I will say, but then you will never see it. Because what do you have to show to the mirror? What do you have to believe about God? You have to believe exactly the same thing as you want in your point of view. Right? You will have to be the one being aware of what you want to be aware of. Does that make sense? So if you want, let's just say that this is external reality over here. If you want to be rich, right? You can't see it. I should have tested these, but I didn't. if you want to be rich, right? Should we draw it? Like this, okay. If you want to be rich, then what could possibly make you rich in external world, right? Could it be, then you can guess with me, could it be trying? No. Could it be affirming? No. What could it be? What could simply give you the point of view where you got to be rich? It would only be when you believed awareness to be rich. When you went to God and said, "But I am rich." Right? When I spent more time in my unknowing of my current state, I can spend more time in my new state. And I actually tell all of my clients to do this. Talk less, think less, look less. Because everything you're seeing is a solidification of your current state. So don't spend time in it. Spend more time not talking. Spend more time not looking. Just focus on creating a mental plane, an inner dialogue, an external dialogue, but most importantly, that feeling of, but I'm already that. I'm simply choosing to take on a point of view where I'm already that. And that's the only state that would create. And time only waits for that state that creates, right? I've told you before. If you want more videos like this, please subscribe to the channel, right? And also tell me in the comments if you like whiteboard videos. For next time, I'll buy new pens, right? Because I know that's a problem. But it can only be that rich believing that your point of view is rich can only give you an external reality that's rich. That's simply the only solution. Right? It can be no other way. Right? That is why I say that the state is always one-to-one. Right? I am as my servant thinks I am, or as within, so without. It's mentioned all over ancient texts that this is true. So when you try to manifest, become the version of you. You always manifest the version of you. You're choosing a different point of view of the totality of God. Right? So it's not a trick you employ. And when you try to employ a trick, what you're actually trying to change is your point of view. And sometimes it will work by moving your point of view slightly in that direction. And it's much more good for you to recognize that you can choose any point of view. Right? You will never change you, but you can just move your you around and change your life experience. Right? And that is what they call quantum jumping, or whatever they call it. Timeline leaping. Right? So you will see it when you are it. Right? So if we do that again, just one final time, then we'll be done with this video. Right? So if you want to see a different point of view, become that point of view. Let's say that this looks at lack and this looks at rich. Simply move. You have all of these possibilities, just like in a dream where consciousness creates everything you know and everyone you know. Right? Know that what you're looking at will start changing. It doesn't matter what it is. It will start changing based on what you know. So how do you know God? What do you know God to be the giver of? Consciousness. Because every lack you have in here, it is actually the lack in belief. And then that also liberates you totally from every thought you could have. Because every thought, you will know that that's not you either. So as I told you in another video, you can tell that thought to fuck off if you want to, right? Because you'll recognize, yeah, but it's just the reproduction. It's actually a solidification, right, of me spending my awareness in a state. And that will give me thoughts. And I've done it my entire life. Just listen to my dad and my mom and my colleagues and society telling me who I am. Right? And that has brought me so much into this state that I think that my thoughts have power over me. I think they hold some value. Right? And Neville would say that's you being a grasshopper in the world of giants. And you will have to recognize, no, you're the giant. Just from now and until the rest of your physical life. Right? You will now know that you can actually choose. And when a thought arises, it's not you. Call it your old point of view. And know it to be a production of that. Old song lyrics. A song you used to like. But not anymore. It's still playing. And that state will always play, maybe. And you can also always go back to that point of view. That's the wonderful part, right? That's why I always say it's total responsibility to change your life and therefore change your reality, what we call manifestation. But it's also total liberation to know, but I'm everything. Also the points of view I don't like, right? The guy living next door I don't like, or whatever, right? I'm all of it. So anything I don't accept, I'm less acceptant of a part of me. Right? And if you believe in God, other consciousness source, He also created everyone you do not like. Would you go around saying, yeah, but this point of view of God does not make any sense? Right? It does. Everything makes sense. So this is how you manifest. It's never by manifesting a thing. It's always by manifesting you. The version of you that gets to have it, simply by knowing it to be true. The law of knowing. So if I had to give you something to take on from this video, I would say become obsessed, quote unquote, by being the version of you that knows it to be unfolding in your favor. Right? So anytime you're choosing you're choosing what reality to experience. So it's not a matter of, but can I choose it for only a while? And then I will have what I want? But there's no choosing only for a while. Who are you? And if you lose sense of it when external reality shows you otherwise, it's not your point of view. Then you are in a point of view maybe very closely related to that. You are it. So go be it. Just go be that point of view that where you believe that you already have money, have love, have health, and then that mirror will slowly start recreating itself. Awareness will just keep on looking for what you are wanting. So God will just find a way. Just like this is even more fluid than water, right? It's not a substance you can hold. It's just a substance of everything, vibration. And it moves beyond your limits. That's why Neville said that if it takes 1,000 men to realize your desired goal, 1,000 men will show up. Because that is what consciousness will do for you. It does not matter if you recognize with your limited human brain that you recognize how you can get a goal, how you can get a desire. You don't have to take care of it. God will take care of it. You only have to occupy that state where you know that God will take care of it. So you spend some time closing your eyes, fixing the visual images, fix how you know yourself, say goodbye to the old state, have an internal dialogue that represents the state you want to be in, have an external dialogue that represents the state you want to be in, have actions that represent the state you want to be in. Start aligning yourself with what you want and be less concerned about external reality. So don't think about how can I have what I want, but how can I be the one having what I want? In thought, in visual images, in imagination, in action. Also to everyone else, how do I show up for myself? So when you become it, you will have it. And it's for free. Your manifestation is for free when you are it. But it's very costly when you're not it. It's so expensive that you won't ever have it. Right? Yes. Hope you enjoyed it. Talk soon. And as always, get out of here.